Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Hardcore Closer Podcast. I'm your host, Ryan Stewman, founder of HardcoreCloser.com. And this podcast is all about helping you close more deals. And look, whether you're selling cars, homes, financial services, consulting, whatever it is, this podcast is here. It's designed to help you. This is the benevolent arm of the Hardcore Closer organization. I say, that's the Southern Gentleman Sales Organization. Anyway, look, I'm dedicated to help you generate better leads so you can increase your closing ratio, because when you have better leads, you got a better chance of actually selling something to somebody, right? We can all agree on that. And I'm going to show you throughout the course of, look, there's a ton of other episodes. We're at number 48, but I'm going to show you throughout the course of this episode and many others just like it, how you can charge premium fees for whatever it is that you sell so you can get paid what you're worth. My number one belief is that the salesperson is grossly underpaid in the marketplace. So welcome. If this is your first time, welcome to episode number 48. And that means that there's 47 other episodes out there that you should probably check out. I highly endorse them. And I would also ask you to endorse them as well on iTunes. Go in there in the podcast app. Now, look, this is not the easiest thing to do, right? If this is your first time here, you're exempt from this little next message. If you've been here more than once, quit being lazy, get your ass over to iTunes. And look, here's what you got to do. You got to open up the podcast. It's crazy I even have to explain it this way. But you have to open up the podcast icon and hit the search button. Type in THC podcast. It's going to pull up the picture, the red and black picture of me. You're going to push that. And once you push the THC, it's going to pull up my podcast. And in the middle, there's going to be 3 tabs. In the middle of the middle, it's going to say reviews. And right there, as soon as you touch that, it's going to say write a review. That's like, this is why people don't have reviews on iTunes, but this is why it's important to me. And this is why I'm asking you for your help. My mission is to help enhance the lives of at least 300 million salespeople. I am trying my best to put content out that changes lives all across the globe. I've even got a new book coming out called Fuck Your Excuses, to be available on Amazon. And it's a personal development side, because I believe that sales is a personal development course with a pay plan attached to it. And so it's my job to help the misfit salesperson, the people that cuss, that drink, that don't want to feel guilty for having a good time, that work hard, that play hard, that people just like you. I want to help you guys and girls get paid more money. And so it's important that iTunes is a huge outlet for that. So it's important to me to be in the top podcast on there. Right now, we're top 50 podcasts. We have been for a long time. So that's awesome. Thank you for helping us achieve that. But one of the ways to do that is through people listening to the show. Another way is through people leaving us a review. That's why it's so important. It's not the fact that I'm just like over here begging for reviews. It's not the fact that I'm like, oh, hey, I want to be the cool person. It's not like that. I'm looking to change lives, people. This shit is bigger than me. When I drop the Break Free Academy Foundation here in just a few, it's going to be about another 2 months. We drop that thing. We're going to be able to donate thousands of dollars into fallen salespeople. We're going to be able to be the first benevolent arm of any charity that's ever given a shit about you guys, the sales community, ever. I'm trying to lead a revolution here. And I can't get in front of revolutionaries without you doing things like taking a couple minutes of your time to take 47 motherfucking steps to leave a review on iTunes. If you're new, hey, you know what? We're glad that you're here. Stick around. There's 47 other episodes. You'll love them. Make sure you indulge. You can always check out hardcorecloser.com or closerpodcast.com as well. Here's a review. We always read a review each week. It says, tons of value by Young Millennial. See, this is what I'm talking about. We've got, like, the millennial's like a negative word, right? The M word, right? Oh, that stung to a few of you. Like, oh, wait, no, like, seriously, the M word. I don't even like people calling it. It's like, it's derogatory, because I believe that, like, you know, millennials like a mindset that people put a bunch of negativity on. But I actually like you guys. I think that you're brilliant, because look, I don't want to do shit that I don't want to do either. And so, like, we have Todd that works for us, and Todd does all of our tech work. And he's like your typical person from that age range. He's found a way to use technology to make his life easier. And now he's going to profit from it. I dig that mindset. You know, a lot of old school guys are like, hey, you got to work 10x hard. And if you don't work 10x hard, you don't deserve the money. I don't fucking believe that shit. What I believe is that if you can find a more efficient way of doing things, you're winning, and I want to be on your team. So anyway, Young Millennial here says, Ryan is one of the best around. I first saw him in my news feed, have purchased his books, programs, and regularly listen to the podcast. Keep up the hard work, man. Thanks a lot. Young millennial, baby. That's my Lil Wayne. All right, so let's jump into the episode here. It's 5 reasons, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 reasons you should wake up early and get shit done. Look, a few years back, I was vacationing in Maui. And a friend of mine says to me, I wish I lived here. And he was saying, not for like the oceans, the mountain, that's nice and everything else. But it's the time zone was different. And he's like, you think about it, you can wake up at 3 a.m. here in Hawaii, we were talking about at the time, wake up at 3 a.m. and be done with work by 10 a.m., which is 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Then you can take a nap until 1 o'clock, get caught up on your sleep. And then you have the whole day to hang out, and you can end up passing out around dark time. Dude, that's like a dream schedule for me. I was always a weird kid. You know, my friends, they want to party all late and do stuff in the dark and shit like that. Man, I want to wake up early and enjoy the daylight. Man, I don't know what it is about waking up early. I've always been that guy. I remember one time we had this like big hotel party, and everybody's sleeping until like, 1 or 2 o'clock the next day. And man, I'm up at like 7 in the morning. I went to sleep at like 2 a.m. and everybody else just stayed up. They're like wasting the day away. And it's like, man, I got to get away from these people. But the reason why I say that is I thought when I was in Maui, I said, you know what, dude, why wouldn't I just follow that schedule here on the mainland? Just because I'm not in Hawaii doesn't mean that I can't just do that. And so since then, this was like 2012, I think, I've been getting up between 3 and 4 a.m. and following that exact same schedule. And I'm going to tell you today 5 major reasons why you should get up early and get your ass to work. Because here's the thing, turns out getting up early and getting shit done is fucking awesome, right? There's a ton of benefits to waking up early, mostly because everybody else is asleep. Let me get the green juice for y'all watching on YouTube. They got to have your green juice. That's how you keep healthy. So there's a ton of benefits to it. First of all, the number one benefit is going to be that while everyone else is asleep, you're getting work done. So here's what I train my sales team to do, and you should do this too. I highly, as in Denver, Colorado, on a bunch of edibles and a fat ass blunt and some bong rips, highly recommend that you do exactly what I'm about to tell you to do, okay? So here's the thing. If you'll wake up, let's say, I'm going to let you sleep in a little bit. Let me let you sleep in. If you wake up at 5 a.m., not 3 a.m. like I'm talking about doing for myself, or 4 a.m., but let's say 5 a.m. At first, it might suck for you, but you'll get used to it just like anything else. You have a kid, you adjusted to that, you'll adjust to this too. So here's the thing. If you wake up at 5 a.m. and instead of wasting time reading the newspaper and brewing coffee and stirring around, hating life, making sure you don't want to go to work, and all this, right? Instead of doing all that, if you'll wake up at 5, get up, splash water on your face, maybe even take a shower, get your coffee rolling, get your Monster, your Red Bull, whatever it is that you drink to get your energy, and get your ass behind a computer. Or if you don't require a computer for your work, behind a phone. And you can start working. You can get ahead on your day while everybody else is asleep. So here's what I have my sales team do. Think of it this way. Everybody else is asleep at 5 a.m. They're probably not going to wake up till 7. So if you're up at 5, you're firing off emails. You're firing off text messages. You're firing off the schedule for the day. Not text messages. Sorry, that's a terrible idea. Somebody's phone goes off at 5 in the morning. They may not want to hear that shit. Save that for later in the day. But you're firing off emails. What I do is I slide dials, right? At 5 in the morning, you can leave somebody a slide dial. And so that it didn't make their phone ring. It just went straight to their voicemail. And so there is mainly emails, direct messages through social media like LinkedIn, Facebook, any quiet form of communication that allows you to start it off. So from 5 to 7 in the morning, if you wake up at 5, let's say you have your morning shit and a cup of coffee, and by 5:30 you're sitting your ass in the chair behind the desk. So from 5:30 to 7, you've got an hour and a half before they wake up to get all of your stuff set up. And it needs to start, like I teach my sales teams, like, hey, start by giving some sort of value, wake up and lead first, and then, some sort of motivation. Hey, like, here's some awesome motivation for you. Hey, would you like to speak this afternoon when you get off of work? For you guys, depending on what it is to sell, there might be some sort of there's a call to action to show up during work hours. We usually sell things after work hours. That's how it works over here in our business. So, but the thing is, my sales team and myself, mainly me, this is like I've been following this for years, is I can wake up at 5 a.m. and by 7 a.m. I've already got 2 hours worth of work done. Answered messages, replied to emails, all this other stuff. And here's the thing, if I'm up at 5 replying to emails, what happens is The folks that are getting the emails, they're not all of a sudden engaging me and we're going back and forth and we're dialoguing now and I'm sucked in trying to have one conversation. I get to go through and answer all of them. And then during the day, I get to have the reactive conversations as they wake up, and there's no pressure and everything else on me. I've already initiated it, dude. So like waking up early, the fact that and here's the other thing. The wife, the husband, the rugrats, the assistant, anybody that works for you, anybody that works around you, the housekeeper, depending on how rich you are, all those people are asleep at 5 a.m. too. So when you get up and you get in your office and you turn on your computer, it's completely quiet. The kids ain't screaming. Everybody's asleep. Nobody's disturbing you. There's no distractions. The news feed inside of Facebook's super quiet, so it's not even distracting you. And you just over there working away, getting shit done. All right, number 2, spend less money waking up early too. You might think, well, how you spend less money waking up early? Well, if you know you have to wake up at 5 a.m., then you're supposed to not go out partying till 2 a.m. and spending money at the bar, right? You're like, hey, dude, it's 9:30. I got to go to sleep. People don't start partying until 10 p.m. So if you got to go to sleep at 9:30 in order for your schedule to allow you to wake up at 5 a.m., think of the amount of money. And think of the amount of money that you save by being productive because you didn't go out and get all tore up and have to hit Whataburger and get a bunch of taquitos and get your shit together. And you know what I mean? Spend 3 hours back and forth yakking on the toilet and all this other stuff, right? Because you're hungover. You save that money because you're disciplined. I wake up at 5 a.m. on the weekends as well. And oftentimes I wake up about 4, but I'm just going to use 5 a.m. for this show because I don't want to scare you folks off, right? But look, it's like, think of how productive you'll be and how much money. Like, let's say you go out once a week, or let's say you're single and you go out 2 or 3 times a week. But if you know you have to wake up early, dude, it'll change the game. I remember when I worked at the car wash, the manager wanted me to start working out with him at, say, 5 in the morning. And I'm like, was not for that at the time whatsoever. I was a young man, 22, 23 years old, and I had shit to do, and 5 a.m. came awfully early. And especially to be in the gym, because that meant I had to be up at like 4:30 to be there. And I didn't know it at the time, but now that was like his way of making sure I wasn't on drugs and stuff like that. You know, if I was showing up at 5 a.m., I had to go to sleep, and I had to be rested, and I had a responsibility and someone to hold me accountable, and it worked really well. So some of you managers, that might be a good way for you to keep your top producer in check, right? You get them to come to the gym with you or meet every day for breakfast, some sort of accountability there. Because here's the thing, when I knew the manager wanted to meet me at 5 a.m. for the gym, my ass went to sleep early. I didn't stay up partying with my roommate all night and everything else. So number 3, if you're an entrepreneur, then you get to take a nap in the afternoon. So like when I wake up early, I got to wake up at 5. I got all this work done by 7. The normal business hours are 9 to 5. By the time 1 o'clock, noon rolls around, shit, I've done a 9 to 5 job already. And again, in my business, it's going to be after hours that most people reach out to us. And so at that point, like I could take a nap, you know, not all days. These days, less than more, but not all the time. But the bottom line is I get to take a nap. I took one yesterday. As a matter of fact, it's about 4 o'clock when I was done everything. I slept from 4 to 5. That allowed me to stay up till 10 o'clock last night, chilling with the family, getting a little extra work done. So, but I mean, naps are awesome. When you're a kid, like I got a 5-year-old and a 4-year-old, and they hate naps. The only way to get them in a nap is literally to strap them in the car seat and drive around the block. They'll be out like a couple of drunk friends on a Friday night in the back seat of an Uber. Like they're out, man. But other than that, they fight me on it. Dude, as an adult, I'm trying like, okay, so which appointments can I cancel? I'm going to take a nap. And here's what happens. A lot of people think you got to wake up early and you got to stay up all day long. And there's nothing wrong with that. Some days you do. But if you're an entrepreneur, you work from home or whatever, if you woke up early, you got ahead on your work, then you can take a nap. Because here's the thing, man, I don't procrastinate. I like to get shit done up front. And since I get shit up front, it buys me a little bit time. It buys me some time back to take a nap stuff in the evening. This way, by the time my kids get home, by the time Amy's done with her work as well, we get to hang out. So, and then, you know what, I'm really getting, 6 hours of sleep at night. And then I'm getting another hour of sleep in the afternoon from a nap. And I use part of that time to meditate as well. in the afternoon. So really it's like 10 minutes meditation, 50 minutes nap, sometimes 2-hour naps, depending on what I have for lunch. If I was drinking some margaritas and not for lunch, it just depends. Sometimes I don't do that anyway. But it's really not that hard. Number 4, to switch up your sleeping routine. $1 million listing star Ryan Serhant. I just saw the other day on his Instagram, he starts his day off at 4:30. He says it gives him a jump on the day while the rest are asleep. And, morning is quiet time, like I told you. And I've worked, many of you don't know this, but I used to be business partners with Frederick Eklund from $1 Million Listing, as well as Josh Flagg, and I have done events and stuff. I actually did one last year with Josh Altman. So I'm pretty in tune with those guys. I've met Ryan. I've met all of them. Luis, I've worked with a lot of them in one capacity or another. Many folks don't know that's where I got started. That's where they got started too. Helped them with their social media pretty good. I think when Frederick and I started working together, he had 48,000 fans on Facebook, and then we started running ads, and he grew to a couple 100,000, and now I think he's at 400,000. He's a pretty popular dude. So maybe he has 600 on Instagram. Pretty cool. But anyway, back to this. It's not hard to switch up your sleeping routine. It's a matter of discipline. It's just like anything else. If you decide and commit, you can do anything you want. I mean, there's people in the Navy SEALs. Dan Bilzerian at one point did this, right? This guy's like fucking does nothing but bang chicks, do drugs, and like have cool cars and flying private jets. And at one time, he was so disciplined in his life that he lived on 2 hours of sleep for months at a time when he was going through training. So listen, it's not impossible. It's not hard to switch up your sleeping routine. Listen, when I went to prison, I didn't have a choice. They woke you up at 3 a.m. They were like, chow time. And you had to get out of the fucking cage. Then you had to like storm around a bunch of dudes that ain't worn deodorant in years into a sally port, and you had to slam in there and eat. And dude, that's a hard routine to get used to. Then you went out in the fields, and you most people worked. I drove a tractor because I'm a closer. And like you have all these like things that you're doing up early in the morning. Somehow I still made it at that time. Right? Like somehow I adjusted to that. You adjust to the conditions that you give yourself. You see, when I was in prison, I had no choice. So those were the conditions that I dealt with. There was no time to be tired. See, if you make that same decision in your life, now I'm not here to be like Gary Vaynerchuk, tell you work your face off and like do 10X like Grant Cardone and all those guys. That's not the point. But what I'm saying is you can be efficient with your time. And it's not hard to switch up that sleeping routine. Many of you sleep till 10 a.m. and then you wonder why you spend the whole day chasing and working reactively, right? But if you'll just wake up at 5 a.m., you don't have to chase. You bring the chase. You bring it, baby. You bring the chase. And then on top of that, like, dude, you're winning, dude. You're ahead of the game. You get to spend the whole day being proactive instead of reactive. Number 5, waking up early gives you a competitive edge. Here's the thing. When you wake up early, like let's say you wake up at 10 a.m. and it takes you an hour to wake up. So really you're moving at 11, and that's like taking a shower, shower, shave, all that good stuff, right? So you're really moving at about 11 a.m. And even if it's the weekend, right? I'm not hating, I'm just saying. But meanwhile, you're my competitor and you wake up at 10 a.m., let's say 9 a.m. You wake up at 9 a.m. and it takes you till 10 a.m. to get your stuff together. And you're my competitor, even if this is especially back when I was doing mortgages, because I did this then as well. If I'm up at 5 a.m. and you're not even ready till 10 a.m. and I've worked from 5 a.m. to 10 a.m., I'm 5 hours ahead of you. You know, every single week I'm going to work 35 hours before you even start doing anything. Right? I'm outworking you by a work week without having to really make any kind of major adjustments to how I do things. Oftentimes people think, especially you guys that sell cars and retail, you think you have to go into the office to actually work. You don't have to, man. You can work from home and get a bunch of stuff banged out. Guess what? You show up to work, whether it be a car dealership or whatever, you sell 2 or 3 cars before noon because you got all your shit banged out. Guess what? You go home in the afternoon, you can take that nap that we were talking about. It gives you a competitive edge because while the competitors are just aimlessly, sheepishly floating through life, you're over here up early doing wolf shit. So let's recap this real quick. Right. Number 1, while everyone else is asleep, you're handling business. Number 2, you spend less money by waking up early because obviously you're not going out and blowing a bunch of money, drinking, all that stuff. Number 3, dude, if you wake up early and get stuff done, you're able to take afternoon naps. Those are awesome. Number 4, it's not that hard to switch up your sleeping routine, right? Like it's just to make a decision and commit behind it. And number 5, waking up early gives you a competitive edge because you got a 5-hour head start on lazy folks. Here's the deal. head over. I've got about 2,500 of these. No, I'm sorry, 2,000 of these left. Get a free paperback copy of my sales book, elevatortothetop.com. You can go over to elevatortothetop.com. You can get a free copy of my book paperback. I don't care where you live in the world. I will ship it to you. Again, head over there, elevatortothetop.com. Hey, we are also going to be doing a webinar real soon. hcwebinar.com is the place to always go and check out where the upcoming webinar stuff is, hcwebinar.com. You can get the show notes and resources over at hardcorecloser.com. And don't forget about the iTunes review. Lastly, hey, make sure you sign up and make sure that you follow me on social media, but sign up for Clixo, CLYXO.com. You can find me on there, clixo.com/closer. I'm looking for a business partner on that venture. If you know somebody, or if you are that somebody that has marketing talent, running a tech company, and connections with capital and all that, because I'm looking for a business partner that does take money, then hit me up in the DM. And the way to find me is clixo.com/closer, because I am looking for someone to help me grow that brand this year. So thanks for checking it out. Thanks for hanging out. Now it's time to get your ass to work and close some sales. Alrighty. No, man, let me kill this YouTube video. What's up, YouTubers? How many YouTubers we got on here? We have 14. What's up, all 14 YouTube? I need to figure out how to get my shit in front of YouTube. Like, we do a live video on Facebook, man. We have thousands of people show up, but we do a live video on YouTube. They're like, what's up, Stewman? Where your people? No, we got 15, so we're growing. Hey, there is an escalation cycle here. So, hey, thanks for hanging out. We do these every Tuesday about this time, and I'm going to start live streaming. That's part of it. We used to just upload them on the back end. We're going to start live streams. Thanks for hanging out, YouTube. Make sure you head over to iTunes and give me a review. You guys are awesome.